Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rush Limbaugh.
We love you. I'll tell you, I love you. You don't know how much that means to me. I thank you all very much. It's what it's like to be me, folks. What can I tell you? Well, hello, welcome. We are here celebrating the release of the video that you're now watching. And as I've often said, I get to have more fun than any human being should be allowed to have. And now I am continuing that fun. For us, a celebration. For you, even better. We've taken the very funniest and craziest moments from my award-winning thrill-packed television show. We've reorganized them from A to Z and placed them in this wonderful little box so that you can now enjoy them right along with us. Now, my friends, let me ask you a question. Ask yourself, how have I lived all these years without Rush in my VCR? Ask yourself that. Now, I've alphabetized this video so you can easily find your favorite moments. Not just for your own pleasure, but to help you educate that liberal clown who lives next door. We call this collection of our funniest moments, Sometimes You Just Gotta Laugh. These days, laughter's necessary. In fact, when you look at what some of those bozos in Washington are doing, it's almost mandatory. Laughter is also good for you, as long as you don't inhale. So, let us begin traditionally, ladies and gentlemen. Big traditional person here. We'll start with the letter A. A stands for a commodity, of which America, unfortunately, has an oversupply. Airheads. We take you now to Washington, D.C.
Everything that should be down is up. Everything that should be up is down. They've got it upside down, and we're going to turn it right side up with your help.
Economy will go up and then it'll go down. It'll go up and go down. People will produce all they need, or things will change. They'll have to change the way they do it, and it'll go down. That always happens, up and down and up and down. Inflation will go up and it'll go down, and it'll go up and go down.
If it takes a flip to throw stones at the president, they'll flip. If it takes a flop to throw stones at the president, they'll flop. Zig and zag, flip and flop. One position today, another position tomorrow, a third position next day, a fourth position the next day.
Whoa!
When you've got a piece of fine china, my advice is to you, don't just drop it to see if it'll break. There's no country and western song, a little less talk and a lot more action. Numbers in Washington don't mean anything. They're kind of like weathermen before radar. It's like a bridge built halfway across the river. You can't get to the other side of the river. You can go to the edge and fish on it if you want to.
Now, my friends, I know that you love that. You're probably thinking, oh, geez, they've put the best at the beginning and it's downhill. We haven't done that yet. You have not seen your favorite segment yet. After you've seen them all, you will not have seen your favorite segment because there will be another tape with even more. But let's move on. The letter B. The letter B highlights a sad but undeniable fact. The United States today may be the only nation in the history of the free world to have a president known as Bubba.
On several occasions in the past, and more in recent months, I have found him helpful in the formalization, conceptualization, and the communication on national security matters. I now wanted to play a larger role, joining my team as a principal advisor in this field.
How many of you recall during the Reagan presidency that the press had the biggest time by informing you and telling you how Reagan fell asleep during cabinet meetings, and that meant he was disengaged, wasn't aware of what's going on? Watch this.
We haven't even talked about the secondary consequence of what's going on in the Soviet Union and Central Europe, which is also impacting our domestic economy close to home now. And I tell you, I would be very happy if all I had to do was have two accountants at the end of the
Limbaugh, the Clintons, they can really use the support. Thank you. Appreciate it. Help the president. Sure you want to give to the Bill and Hillary Defense Fund?
I wish I could, but I got the same problem and nobody's helping me.
I'm 78 years old. I'm working. Let him go to work. He's got a lot of legal bills. His legal bills? Good. Stop fooling around with the women. He won't have any legal bills.
What do you think of Rush Limbaugh moving to TV?
How about the actual binoculars he looked through in South Korea with the lens caps on? Well, he got mad at a construction site in Washington yesterday, and did he count to 10? Let's look.
Come on, Mayor. Where are we going? No. Come on. Come on. Right there. You want to bring her? We're going up here. Listen, damn it. Come here. Yes, sir. You can't do that. You can't bring me out here with a mayor and a congressman and push them back. I will do it now.
What was he pointing out there? This is going to be risky. Clinton, he did this. Like this. He's looking at Cole, did this, and then pointed there.
I want to emphasize, I do not want to punish success.
Stop
That's not what this is
tape!
about.
Stop the tape! Who says that? Who have you ever heard say punish success? Have you heard McNeil Lehrer say it? Have you heard Rather, Brokaw, Jennings say it? Have you heard Maxie Shields say it? You haven't. Have you heard anybody say it but me? What's that mean? Watching this show. Hi, Mr. President. C. C supposedly stands for the voice of the people. But unfortunately, however, C speaks for itself. In fact, C speaks for itself again and again and again and again and again. Because C is for Congress.
Will you get these highly paid members to sit down and shut up so I can explain to the American people what's going on here? Shut up. You all sit down and shut up. Sit down and shut up.
Shut up.
In the committee's report, fly in the face of the clear verbiage of the amendment itself.
I agree, Mr. Chairman. I
agree with what?
I'm just looking at the language now.
If you forgive me a moment, Senator, I've got my papers all mixed up here. I have them straightened out. I'll go ahead.
Quite often, that's understandable.
Come on.
Professor Cox.
Where else are you going to see this stuff, folks? I mean, sometimes you just have to laugh. And I understand the meeting is still going on. Senator Byrd's still working on the next sentence. Okay, the fun rolls on, folks. Now the letter D. D could stand for dizzy or dazed. D could mean diluted, demented, or even defunct. Fortunately, however, we have found one D word which encompasses all of the above. Know what it is? Democrats is right. Here it is.
If you tell them to take up the gangplank, you'll get it. If you tell them to ignore sick people, you'll get it. If you tell them to ignore the poor, you'll get it. If you tell them to victimize young children, you'll get it.
You tell them you want a new governor, you'll get it. When you think about what Democrats stand for today, and Bob, doesn't all this make sense? They are a miserable lot. I mean, they are the original doom and gloomers. People always come up to me and say, hey, Rush, when is there going to be a liberal counterpart to you on radio? And I say, never. And they say, why? I said, because when's the last one you ever heard it's having fun? When they don't laugh. My friends, I never thought I'd see this day. Mayflower moving vans at the Capitol. Here they are. And
most Americans are working longer days and earning third world wages.
third world wages. And by the way, Mr. Gephardt, can I say something? I mean, there is, I'm going to get real close here so you can't mistake me. There is nothing stealth about our attempt to defeat you guys. It's right out in the open and as big as in your face as I am right now. You remember what I said, Harry S. Truman? The buck stops here. Bill Clinton, the buck never got here. All right, we're up to E. Anybody want to take a stab just off the top of your head? What do you think? Somebody said elders, wishful thinking. Be patient, ladies and gentlemen. Be patient. E stands for those people out there who are protecting you from yourself. For them, our planet is the property and habitat of every living thing except for one. Mankind, you. Yes, friends, E is for the environmentalist wackos. We'd like to show you some video of people for the ethical treatment of animals, which is part of the environmental movement, protesting something in Washington at the White House. Take a look at this video. I think you'll enjoy it. That's a beaver, folks. What a bunch of idiots.
Touch it, you're breaking it. Don't touch it, you're breaking the beaver. Let go.
I, of course, love to tweak environmentalists because the best thing about trees is when you cut them down. The most beautiful thing about a tree is what you do with it when you kill it. When you just boom, chop it down. You turn them into baseball bats. You turn them into pianos. Or you decorate them for the holiday season. And to tweak, it's just a crop. You know, it's not as though we're cutting something down that's never going to come back again. It's just a crop. It's like corn or whatever. Just in some cases, it takes 40 years for this thing to come back again. But it's a renewable resource. So don't feel sorry for the trees. I mean, it's not like they have hearts and brains or anything. It's not like they watch this show and are hearing me say this and are out there getting scared. Let me show you something. See this? This is a fine alligator. You animal rights people, I hope you love this. This used to be a slimy, greasy reptile known as an alligator. And you know what it now houses? Fine tobacco. You know that the jungle is what they now call the rainforest. But it's a jungle. You can't say jungle anymore because jungle has overtones of third worldism. You can't say it. It's almost a racist thing to say jungle. It's a jungle. I mean, they don't sit there and say, boy, it's a rainforest out there. Now, I know many of you are probably seeing me and some of these things for the first time. And you're probably a little bit surprised. You thought I was something other than what you see portrayed here. The truth be known, I am just a harmless, lovable little fuzzball. Oh, I mean, yes, it's absolutely true. But there are a bunch of people who would love to have you think that I'm a mean, ornery, myopic sexist. What do you mean, yeah? Who let the liberals in here? We're not into diversity on this tape. I have separated them here into their own special group, ladies and gentlemen. These people I'm talking about. F is for feminists.
I think that we ought to stop for a minute and talk about what feminism is, because I keep hearing from the media that feminism is the new F word. Now, we have several possible definitions to choose from. We could go with Pat Robertson. How many of you can recite his definition with me? During the campaign for the Equal Rights Amendment to the Iowa Constitution, he sent out a fundraising letter, and he said that the Equal Rights Amendment had nothing to do with a movement for equality. It had to do with teaching women to kill their children, leave their husbands, practice witchcraft, destroy capitalism, and become lesbians. 4 out of 5 ain't bad.
Now, there is a young feminist, an angry, bored, nothing better to do feminist who is reflecting the views of modern militant feminism. She's on campus at UC Santa Cruz. She's supposed to be getting an education. She's supposed to be concerned about what she doesn't know. She's an ignoramus. She's trying to become educated. Hey, I don't, look, when you're an ignoramus, it just means you're ignorant. Doesn't mean you're stupid or dumb. That's to come later, and I think you'll agree with me that this person's not only ignorant, but stupid. And she is offended by these signs that show a woman in a skirt on the door to a restroom. Because she wears pants. We thought that we, ladies and gentlemen, would get into the business of suggesting possible solutions to solve this crisis. Let's see the normal doors, and there they are. First, how about this? Try this. This is our second alternative. I have said once, if not once, many times, I've said, I love the women's movement, especially when walking behind it. It's clever, it's funny, and it's harmless. But not to these women who are wound so tight and so bitter. They're so angry, and they're just waiting to go grab a kitchen knife and go, whack, take that. Now, as many of you know, I am an extremely humble man. I find it difficult to speak of myself. I don't like... I really don't. I find it very uncomfortable talking about myself. I seldom do it. Sometimes it simply must be done. Therefore, I have bowed to the will of those around me and permitted G to stand for me, greatness. My name is Rush Limbaugh, the poster boy for the American way of life. Your vital national resource, right here. You realize how frustrating it is for me to have been so right for so long about everything that's happened. I know that I am so good at this that I make it look easy. Many of you sitting at home think that you could do this too. You can't. What a burden it is to be right so often, but I'll gladly carry it. This is the only information highway you need. The Rush Limbaugh. Get your own show if you want to tell people what you think. There are inequities of power here. I am the host of the show. He's camera guy, like John here. He doesn't have anywhere near the power I have. He's just a staff nerd. And I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, and furthermore, what I want to tell you is there are these inequities of power. They should exist. There have to be inequities of power. I'm like the national debt. Nobody understands just how big I really am. And I'm not going away anytime soon either. H is for the smartest woman ever to trod the soil of planet Earth. H is for the woman who rode in on that white horse to save all of us from our stupidity and incompetence. H is for the woman who is known as Hillary.
None of us in this room, no matter how well insured, can be guaranteed we will have the same insurance this year at the same cost next year if we do nothing to change our system. So health security remains the primary objective, and universal coverage must be the bottom line of any legislation.
All right, that does it. That is not going to happen, Mrs. Clinton, not while I'm around. You just saw a woman, Hillary Clinton, wife of the President of the United States, who is the best example for all of you women out there to forsake feminism. Well, what's so funny? Let me tell you what you do. Do what she did. Find a guy who's going somewhere and hitch yourself to him and follow him wherever he goes, and when he gets there, take over.
Remember when the president talked about forcing the spring in the inaugural speech? I see little green sprouts all over. They are fragile. They can be stomped on real easy. There can be a terrible storm like the one we're living through right now. but they're there.
Hey, Mrs. Clinton.
Gotcha.
Now, from time to time, I find it necessary to speak out, not only for myself, but for others as well, and I do so. And sometimes I do it in their voices. My friend's eye is for impersonations. Watch. Perot walks in to this meeting with the congressmen, the freshman Republicans, and he says to them, all right, let's get something straight. I'm a billionaire and you're nothing. You guys, the only difference between you and a bag of dog manure is the bag. I'm a billionaire. I can do it. I can wipe you guys out with the snap of my fingers. You don't have any prayer unless you sign on with me. And I'll put all you guys on the short list to be my VP in 1996, but you got to go along with me. I'll make it look like I'm going along with you, but just keep in mind you are dirt. You are nothing. I'm a billionaire and you don't have any. You are lowly congressmen from states where nobody wishes they lived and nobody wishes that they knew you. They're showing Senator Heflin these pictures. And he looks at these pictures and he says, look at the picture. Well, I declare, it sure do look like the senator has done changed his position on offshore drilling. It's a joke about Ted Kennedy and a girl. Well, I think one must, if one's going to discuss the reasons why liberals are liberals, one must first understand that liberalism is devoid of anything to do with the intellect. In Bob Woodward's book, The Agenda, he sat down, it's reported, and he drew a square on it right there, and Carbo said, show me in there. Where's his center? What's he stand for? Where is the sacred ground in there? I don't have any but health care reform in there. That doesn't count for a hill of beans because nobody wants it. Where's my gumbo? I feel your pain. What I should have told you was that both teams were fired up. Both teams gave it every ounce of their capability. Have you ever heard my dolphin impersonation? Okay. The letter J has left us and gone back to Arkansas, as the letter H soon will as well. But Dr. J deserves to linger in our memory a little longer, for while she was with us, she was really something. That's right. J, if you haven't smiled in the last couple of years, folks, if life's been really down, if we haven't done it yet, this portion tape will bring you out of it. J is for Joycelyn. Next up, the category Dumbest Liberal Line of the Year. The nominees are Joycelyn Elders, Joycelyn Elders, Joycelyn Elders, and Joycelyn Elders. Here are the nominees. Watch.
We can decide that we've got to keep the guns out of the hands of our children.
Wait.
We can make safer weapons. We can make safer bullets.
What do you advocate in terms of sex education in schools? How early?
We start kindergarten. And many people tell me it's to start at birth.
Our Medicaid system had to be developed by a white male slave owner.
Most of the people that die with heart disease and cancer are our elderly population, and we all will probably die with something sooner or later, and we've been investing certainly in cancer and heart disease, and I feel that we should continue. I'm not downplaying that, but I'm saying that we are losing the people that's going to pay my Social Security, and that bothers me.
When you're dancing with a bear, we all know you can't get tired and sit down. You have to wait until the bear gets tired, and then you sit down.
And the winner is... the letter K. The letter K, pardon me, those of you who have a decent education, letter K is for character. No, I spell it that way. Because to me, character is always directly tied to Senator Edward M. K. for Kennedy. Yes. Here he is now, ladies and gentlemen. Struggle hard. Sometimes it's difficult to understand what the senator's saying. Listen up.
Itsy bitsy spider climbs up water spout.
The senator was in his office not long ago, and one of his legislative aides came running in, all panicked. Senator, what are we going to do about the abortion bill? And the senator, I guess we'll have to pay it.
Out comes the rain and washes spider out.
We told you who the rich were the other day on this show. They're you. People who have busted their tails. They've worked 70 or 80 hours a week. They've maybe earned a lot. They don't deserve anything. They've earned it. They call that privileged? You know who the privileged are in this country? Senator Kennedy. All he had to do was grow up. And some say he hadn't even done that.
So my advice to Republicans is to make sure there's water in the pool before they leap off their pro-business, anti-regulation diving board.
Lee, a guy who drove a car off a bridge telling Republicans, make sure there's water in the pool? Now here it is. Here is Senator Kennedy, as it really happened, introducing President Clinton at a campaign rally recently.
And you re-elect old Kennedy in the United States Senate. We're going to start on the 96 campaign to elect Bill Clinton as our re-elect him on the next one.
Now, so here's what we did. We slowed it down. We slowed this down, and then we added a translation to this, graphics we call it, subtitles, to help us figure out what it was he might be saying. And here's how that looks. As you can see, it offered us no help whatsoever. As we wander our way through the alphabet in order, we're to the letter L now. Certainly could stand for Limbaugh, or even likable. Now, what else besides Limbaugh and likable could a lovable guy like me make the letter L stand for? Well, let's try love. Love is the only human emotion that you can't control, that we can't control. You either do or you don't. You can't today, if you want to fall in love, go out and do it. And if you're in love and wish you weren't, you can't just wipe it out. Otherwise, there'd be no heartbreak. Love is the only human emotion you can't fake, except women, and thank God they can. Since I'm married, I can tell married jokes now. This guy gets home from work, and his wife's packing a bag. And he didn't know they were going anywhere. He didn't know that she was going anywhere. She says, what are you doing? She says, I'm going to Las Vegas. He says, why are you going to Las Vegas? She says, because I just read that you get $400 for sex out there. So the guy runs and grabs his bag and starts packing. And she says, well, what are you doing? He says, well, I'm going to Las Vegas with you. She says, why are you going? He says, because I want to see you get by on $800 a year. I want you to go ahead and take the advantage and the great opportunity here of proposing national television to your beloved.
Thank you, Rush.
You bet. Look at her, not me.
Cindy, the last 4 years have been a lot of fun. It's been the best time of my life. And the only thing I can think of to give you for Christmas, which would be comparable, would be my last name. Will you marry me, please?
Yes. Oh, no, she said, you said yes?
Okay, too late.
No, that's great. That's great. But can we do it again? Okay. Can I show you how to do it? Can I show you how to do it? I know you're nervous. National TV, you're not a big star like I am, so it was a very intimidating thing. But here's how you do it, Cindy. Don't believe any of this. I'm just pretending. This is Cindy. The last 4 years of my life have meant more to me than any of the previous 22. And I know that I don't have maybe everything I'm going to have, but I do have my heart, and my heart is totally, totally devoted to you. And it would be the absolute wish of the heavens if you would say yes to my offer and request, heartfelt as it is, for marriage. Will you marry me?
Yes.
Now see that. Thanks. Let's go. Let's go. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's go. Give her a kiss. You know, tell you what, we had them back a little while after that. They did indeed get married, and everything is still swimmingly well. Now, you know, ladies and gentlemen, strong national defense is very important to me. But let's face it, sometimes you've even got to laugh at M for military. It was Ross Perot's dad who tried to get him out of the Navy. You know why? He said, my son can't deal with it. Why? When he learned that sailors cuss, and when he learned that they chase women and they swear, why, the Navy wasn't for him. Well, now, maybe if somebody would have told Bill Clinton that was going on, it could have gotten him in instead of getting Perot out. We'll be back in just a moment. But do we all agree that there is this syndrome called PMS? Do we? And we also know that while in this state of PMS, women get crazy. Some women have even committed murder, and that's what you want in combat. And they've been acquitted of the charge in murder because they weren't themselves. It's been used successfully as defense. That wasn't me, it wasn't myself. So I think what we need is the All-American 1st Cavalry Amazon Battalion. And that would be 52 combat-ready divisions, one a week, and make sure that every week you have a division of combat-ready women in PMS. That's the answer to this. Now here's... Stop that. Nobody ever said that I never took risks. Now, the N-word's a very simple one, often repeated by certain naysayers who see the glass as half empty. N, my friends, comes from the leadership of America. And yes, N stands for no, 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 no.
How are we going to do this? First of all, let's identify the microphone holders. Who's got the mics? Stand up. Raise your hands. All right, I'll tell you what I think we will do is I'll just start over here and we'll just go around the room and then turn around and go back again.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Rush Limbaugh, and I'm from New York City. And my question is, given the fact that the first year of your presidency, we've been dragged through Travelgate, Hairgate, Nannygate, Fornigate, and now Whitewatergate, do you think we should believe a single word you say?
No, 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 no.
I didn't think so.
The very people you try hardest to help are those who turn away.
The people you try hardest to help are those who turn away. He's talking about you. You're so stupid. You didn't realize that he was trying to help you. You just looked at this man with this biggest heart that any president's ever had. Ba-boom, ba-boom. And you didn't understand that he was trying to help you. And so you said to him, no, 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 no.
No, 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 no.
If you're going to give condoms out during the school year but not during the summer, why give them out at all? Especially if you're not going to have condoms available during the peak usage times. So Bennett called a New York City public school that gives these things away and pretended to be a student. And he said, hey, look, you guys aren't thinking of me all the way. I'm going I'm planning on being very active this summer, and I want a bunch of condoms at the end of school year. Will you give me some? Guy at the school said, sure, be glad to. How many do you want? He said, well, I don't know. It's going to take a lot because I really plan on being active. I mean, this is a big summer for me, and I'm going to be really sexually active. And the guy at the school said, it's all right. How many do you want? And Bill Bennett, impersonating a student, said, I want 500. The guy at the school said, 500 condoms? You can't have 500 condoms. No way. And Bennett said, see, you will say no. No, 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 no. Oh, do you people ever need me? No, 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 no. He doesn't think you need me, but you do, don't you? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. The letter O appears to be innocent enough, but when you look at what some weirdo, wacko, left-thinking people are teaching our kids, then sometimes you just gotta laugh. Oh, believe it or not, see if you remember this. O is for outer course. We're not trying to shock you here, we're not trying to stun you, but you've got to know what's going on. In Los Angeles, they have figured out that sex education began in 1973 as a direct correlation to the rising teen pregnancy rates. They say, we got to do something about it. They've started a new plan. It's called outer course. Not intercourse, outer course. Do you have any idea what this means, folks? Do you need me to tell you? Creative masturbation. You walk into your first class and your professor says, hi, welcome to Masturbation 101. My name is Mr. Rubens, and I'm here to... We'll know if this program succeeds. In about 40 years, go to Los Angeles and count all the people with seeing eye dogs. The richness of P, more fully PC. I mean, what wonderful nonsense is handed to us with a completely straight face by the purveyors of PC, which, of course, is political correctness. Hempstead, Texas, and the cheerleader controversy rages on. The school district down there is very much concerned, ladies and gentlemen, of lawsuits by the Now Gang and a bunch of others if they ban pregnant girls from being cheerleaders. Do you remember in the old days, if you got pregnant, they sent you off to Kansas with Auntie M for 6 months. And they then said to Zeke, you know, they pointed a shotgun at Zeke, you better head down that aisle and say, I do, or we're pulling the trigger. There used to be a stigma. There's no stigma attached to it anymore. And people, it's a declining standard. I mean, I think it really is. And I'm thinking about this now. See, we're going to have pregnant cheerleaders cheering at Hempstead high school games. Can you imagine? Now wait, now follow me. You're going to have the football team break the huddle and the cheerleaders break water. And I mean, here, how about this cheer? How about this cheer? Push them back, breathe, push them back. If they're going to ban toy guns, think about it when you were a kid. Did you run around doing this to people? You'd sit there and you'd cock the trigger with your thumb. We need to ban forefingers and thumbs. Project Dignity starts up. The avowed purpose is to raise money, to collect money from you, to buy shopping carts for human beings. And call it compassion, call it concern and caring. They put reinforced wheels on these shopping carts. Tell you why. Most homeless people, folks, have not figured out leverage. When they get their shopping cart and they go off the sidewalk and into the street, you eventually reach a curb. And many times, you and I would just put our foot on the rear axle of the shopping cart and lift it up and go onto the sidewalk. The homeless just, the wheels come off. So these shopping carts have reinforced wheels, and you can even get them so that they are rubberized on the tips so that the metal doesn't hurt anybody. Well, these people claim that that's compassion and caring. Would you think that going out and saying to another human being, hey, I love you, I care about you, and I want the best for you. Here's a shopping cart. Q. You know, Q could stand for quixotic or even querulous. But let us instead allow a few select people to shoot themselves in the foot and elsewhere. Let's hear some cues for quotes.
A recent study shows that American women spend an average of 10.5 hours a day caring for toddlers. By the way, more than women in any of the other 10 countries which were surveyed, while American men average 45 minutes. If that were more evenly distributed, both the father and the child would most likely benefit, and the father might be less likely to want to have a lot of children.
You know, let me say something like that, and I'd be thrown off the air for insensitivity and cruelty and sexism, bigotry, homophobia, and everything else. And she can say it, and they go, oh, she's so smart. Oh, she's so brilliant. Oh, we should listen so closely to what she says because we can learn so much. She's a nut. I want to just read you part of his speech that he made here at Baruch College. Quote, "Now is the time for all good persons to come to the aid of the planet. We invented the atomic bomb before the chainsaw, but the chainsaw did more damage." Now, let's see. We got Al Gore saying in his book that the automobile is posing a greater threat to the planet than all nuclear weapons. And now Ted Turner says that the chainsaw is... And these are leaders of the Democratic Party. They're leaders. I mean, people think these guys are right. People think these guys are enlightened. I mean, this is frustrating. I mean, why don't we just equip the military with chainsaws now? Get rid of the M16s, get rid of the tanks. Here, take Normandy. Here's a chainsaw. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Bringing the slaves across, there were 200 million people who died just coming across. So great was the number of people who were thrown overboard that it altered the ecology of the ocean. The sharks, even now, follow after ships along a trail, seeking the flesh that was thrown overboard in all those years, 200 years of the slave trade.
$200 million slaves, ladies and gentlemen. 200 million people. That we only have 250 million people in the country today, for crying out loud. We ran the numbers, my friends. 200 million slaves is equal to 9 ships carrying 304 slaves every day for 200 years. It's not possible. He said the sharks are still swimming the route. That's just incredible. They're falling apart. The Democrats don't know what to do, folks. So don't get depressed when you watch evening news. Be happy. We've been waiting for this day for the longest time. We'll be back in just a moment. See what I mean? That's how you got to react. You just have to laugh. Now, it's time for a break from listening to me and time to listen to others. Others, that is, speaking about me. Yes, my friends, R is for Rush.
Rush Limbaugh is the greatest thinker in America today. The greatest thinker, bar none, in our party, their party, anybody's party, because he is not a politician. He's a commonsensical thinking American.
Rush? Yeah. Rush doesn't like me that much.
How do you think Rush should be as Democratic National Chairman?
It'd be fantastic. Yeah, I wish he could start next week.
He's a very smart and very entertaining young man who I think has enormous impact precisely because people are so loyal to him and enjoy his broadcast so much.
When I'm in New Mexico, I listen to Rush Limbaugh.
He's an entertainer.
Right.
Has nothing to do with his right. He's a fantastic performer.
When we talk about Limbaugh, for instance, I think Dick Gregory hit it exactly right. People are always critical of Limbaugh for his politics or this or that. But I don't care what your politics, that guy's is funny.
I said, what, great? When he said, you see who just walked by? I said, who? He said, Joe DiMaggio. I said, what? I turned around. It's Joe DiMaggio. I said, yeah. So what do you think we should do? I said, well, our choices are to sit here like adults in the world of some accomplishment, or get up like a couple of teenagers and chase him out. Rush said, let's go. Mr. DiMaggio said, Mr. Limbaugh, Rush, I listen to you every day. Now, in your drug questionnaire, where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? Joe DiMaggio's home listening to Rush Limbaugh.
Thank you. All right, the S word. We're up to S now. The S word's a sneaky one. We all need symbols in our lives. The American flag, corporate logo of PepsiCo or IBM, even the cross of Christianity. But like anything else, symbolism can go wacky on us. So let's take a closer look at S for symbols. I, because I'm wearing these ribbons, I care more than any of you about anything. And these ribbons say so. I want you people sitting at home and you people in the audience, look down at your lapel right now. I want you to do this. Put the camera back on me. Do this. When you look down, what do you see? You don't see anything because you're not wearing any ribbons. It means you're a bigot. It means you're a racist. It means you're a sexist. It means you're a homophobe. It probably means you're a white guy. It probably means you're a European. And you alone are responsible for all the ills of America. But I'm not, because I'm wearing these ribbons. I care more than you. We're up to T. T is why we threw the T overboard into Boston Harbor in the first place, more than 200 years ago. And we still haven't got it right. That's right, I heard somebody out there say it. T, that's where we are. T is for taxes.
I think it's too complicated, and I think it is self-defeating. I think the American people are fed up with a tax system that drives them crazy. I think we ought to let people make their own decisions about how they spend their money. We ought to get tax rates as low as we can get them, and we ought to turn people loose to do what they want.
He's got me going in circles here. Now, I'm telling you, this is not Dick Gephardt. An alien has gotten in there and gotten hold of it. I believe that every American citizen ought to earn $100,000. Oh, no. Here's the problem with this. You know, the sad state we're in, too many of you people think it's a good idea. You know, if I guarantee if this were 1994 or 1996 and I suggested this, you know what would happen? Every one of you people would be out there trying to get my name on all 50 ballots.
And we believe that if you do that, it very quickly trickles up. And that everybody in the society, including the wealthy, do better when you invest in the middle class and the poor and let it trickle up than putting all of your investment in the wealthy and letting it trickle down. It doesn't quite ever trickle down.
What in the heck? So I guess what we're supposed to do is give a poor guy a lot of money and say, okay, go out and hire a rich guy now. The letter U, as you will understand, is uniformly unique, as in this particular example. Ain't got no hope. Stunned silence in the room. Ain't got no hope. Ain't got no hope. Nowhere to roam. I have to tell you about that. What I was doing there was telling the audience of a story that had happened the previous weekend. I had been invited to a Christmas party at Barbara Walters' house. And after dinner, she asked everybody in the room to lead the group in a song. And everybody had to have a song. I don't know any songs except that one. So I thought, why not? I went for it. I've never been invited back. I don't think I will be. Okay, here we go. The letter V. The letter V stands for the question of violence on television as discussed by Senator Ernest Hollings. You know Senator Hollings, well, there's too much consuming going on out there. And he speaks with Washington's usual clarity, knowledge, and finger on the pulse of America.
The TV is the most pervasive parent. It's called a narcotic, but the truth of the matter is, and we've got to acknowledge it, it's the most pervasive of parents all children see. We got this, what is it, Buffcoat and Beaver, or Beaver and something else they had. I haven't seen it, I don't watch it, but whatever it is, it was at 7 o'clock. Buffcoat, and they put it on now at 10:30, I think. They've pleaded guilty, and they'll do it as long as you and I have hearings, but we just can't have hearings like we've had now for 40 years and get nowhere. And yeah, we'll go see the Attorney General, we'll go see the chairman, we'll go see. We good people, you good people, and we doing it. But the truth of the matter is, it's more and more pervasive, more and more violence on television. Can't we do that and not really be constitutionally in violation or really hurting, as you and I don't want to do, the First Amendment?
Yeah, what? Yeah, you got people, we got people, and we doing it. We thought that there's something worse on TV than violence that you should be warned about, so we've come up with our own rating and label system. And that which we think you should be warned about is liberalism on TV. So every TV show that is liberal could have an L rating, could have a UL for ultra-liberal, EW for environmentally wacko-liberal, this is like for Captain Planet, APM, actor promoting his movie, BS means makes sense to Barbara Streisand and nobody else. W. W, perhaps one of my favorite letters. W is for a winsome, wistful, yet nonetheless wonderful segment of our society. W, who do you think? Women. That's right. If you really want to meet women, it's real easy to do. All you got to do is go out and get all the women's magazines and books that you can find and turn to the sections on where to meet men. Read it, find out where you're supposed to be, go there. It ought to work out. Some guy stood up and said, "Can you tell me when there will be a woman elected to the White House?" But I mean, what kind of question for that is a debate? And everybody says, "Wow, this is a debate which stuck to the issues." If you know what I would have said, I'm in the debate, and somebody says, "Mr. Limbaugh, when do you think the first woman will be elected to the president?" When there's one who runs that people want to vote for. There, my friends, is a great example of the clarity that I bring to the dialogue and the political debate in this country. Now and then, as you've seen, I look into the control room, see my staff covering their eyes. And why? Well, usually it's because, see, they don't know what I'm going to do half the time. They think they do, but I always go off on tangents. Sometimes they're covering their eyes and go, "Oh, no," because I'm headed off into the realm of the X-rated. You know there's a new Marilyn Monroe stamp? You know what happens when you lick the Marilyn Monroe stamp? Become an honorary Kennedy. This Bobbitt movie, they're going to make a movie out of this whole thing. Have you heard about this, Sandy? Yeah, it's going to be a two-parter. A lot of people have decided that the roads and highways of America could be a lot safer if women would simply stop farting while they're driving. And, see... He said, "What?" And I talked about this on the radio, and a woman called me one day and said, "Roger, I can't believe what I'm hearing you say, that word." I said, "What word?" "Well, you know, you're talking..." I said, "You mean women who are farting while they drive?" And she said, "I can't believe you're saying that. How do you know? How do you know that men don't do it?" And I said, "Because you can see men don't do it." The word is fard, F-A-R-D. It's a French word, and it means to apply makeup. Look it up. It does. It does. I love watching that, especially people who have not seen it before. Some in this audience, my friends, were taken aback. Now, a while back, we had a lot of fun with the word no, especially as it was so often repeated by our president. Stands to reason that we can have an equally good time with the word yes.
I'd be thrilled if we could use the money we have and get better results.
Now watch here. Watch.
If we could spend a little more money
there
and
it
get
is!
the result.
There it is! There it is! There it was! Yes! 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 Hot damn!
I hear you saying that the state could then take the children away from the parent, and that the children then, I assume, under current law and under your proposal, could be put in orphanages. Is that not correct?
Let me repeat. This is
no, but is that correct?
The children would be taken into the child welfare system in foster care, in some cases put into an adoption situation, in some cases put into group homes depending on their ages.
Could they be put into orphanages is my question.
They wouldn't be put into 19...
Not would they, could they be?
There are... if they were babies, it's likely they would not.
Could they or could they not be put in orphanages? It's a very simple question.
If they were teenagers, they could be put into group homes, which is the modern version of residential settings for children.
If they were less than teenagers, if they were preteens, could they be put into orphanages by the states under your program?
There are most of the residential settings in this country. Most young children are put into foster care in this country. Most of the residential homes are for slightly older children. But
could they be put into orphanages by the state? That's a simple question, yes or no?
As part of the overall series of options that a state has before it, the answer is yes.
You heard her say yes. Did you hear her say yes? We got him twice. We got him twice today. Yes. 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 Hot damn. Well, as all great things must, we have reached the end. We've reached the letter Z. Time for our last observation of the world scene. And Z, very important. You might say almost cosmic, because Z is a lesson in zoology. Thank you, Bubba. You see, my friends, I told you so. Sometimes you just got to laugh. Thank you very much.